Welcome, everyone. Today, we explore a profound spiritual truth. The closer you are to wisdom, the farther you are from ego. Let's unravel this insight together, exploring how wisdom can lead us away from the trappings of ego and towards a more enlightened existence. In our first exploration, we focus on understanding the nature of ego. Ego, in psychological terms, is essentially our self-concept. It is the identity we construct and cling to. It encompasses our personal desires, our social masks, and our attachments to who we think we are. But let's ask, what are the limitations imposed by the ego? How does it shape our perceptions and interactions? Ego often convinces us that we are separate and distinct from the rest of the world. This sense of separation can lead to competition, isolation, and a relentless pursuit of personal gain. We see ourselves as the main character in our life story, often prioritizing our needs and desires above all else. But here's a critical question. Have you ever noticed how this isolation feels? Does it bring peace or does it bring turmoil? Now let's shift our focus slightly and bring wisdom into the picture. Wisdom is traditionally seen as the culmination of knowledge, experience, and deep understanding. It involves seeing beyond the surface, recognizing the interconnectedness of all things. Wisdom teaches us humility, the ability to see ourselves as a part of a larger whole, not as isolated beings. Consider a situation where you might have felt a profound sense of connection with others, maybe during a shared experience of joy or adversity. Remember how your sense of individuality might have faded into a collective experience. This is a practical demonstration of wisdom overcoming ego. It shows us that our true strength lies not in our separation but in our connection. Furthermore, wisdom allows us to see the impermanence of all things, including our own identities. It teaches us that clinging to a fixed sense of self is futile. We are constantly changing, influenced by new experiences, ideas, and insights. If we are not the same person we were a decade ago, why cling to a rigid sense of identity? Let's consider how this understanding can change the way we interact with the world. When we stop seeing ourselves as the center of the universe, we begin to appreciate others' contributions and struggles. Our relationships deepen, our compassion grows, and our lives become more fulfilling. I invite you to reflect on how your ego has shaped your interactions and how a shift towards wisdom might alter these dynamics. Would you listen more? Would you speak differently? Would you act more kindly? As we conclude this part of our discussion, consider these transformations and the potential they hold. How can moving away from ego towards wisdom change your life and the lives of those around you? Harnessing wisdom in daily life. Mastering mindful responses over reactive impulses. In this next part of our exploration, we delve into the practical application of wisdom in daily life, specifically how it can guide us in managing our reactions and responses. We often react out of habit, influenced heavily by our egos, which filter our experiences through personal biases and past conditioning. However, by nurturing wisdom, we can choose responses that reflect our true values and aspirations, rather than just reacting automatically. Let's start by examining how our ego typically influences our reactions. The ego, being largely constructed from our past experiences, fears, and desires, often pushes us towards reactiveness. For instance, if someone criticizes us, our immediate reaction might be defensiveness or anger. This is the ego trying to protect its constructed image of self. But what if we could pause in that moment? What if we could respond from a place of understanding rather than from a defensive stance? This is where wisdom comes into play. Wisdom gives us the clarity to see the situation for what it really is. It allows us to understand that criticism from others is not necessarily an attack on our identity, but perhaps an expression of their perspectives or even their own internal struggles. With this understanding, our response can shift from one of defensiveness to one of openness and possibly inquiry. We could ask, "Can you tell me more about your perspective?" Or, "What leads you to feel this way?" This does not only diffuse potential conflict, but also deepens our understanding of others. Moreover, wisdom helps us recognize the impermanence of our emotional states. Just as a storm passes through the sky without altering its essence, our emotions can move through us without defining who we are. By internalizing this insight, we are less likely to act out based on transient feelings of anger, sadness, or frustration. This perspective is liberating, as it frees us from being hostages to fleeting emotions and allows us to act in ways that align with our deeper values. Now let's explore a technique that can help integrate this wisdom into daily living: mindfulness. Mindfulness involves maintaining a moment-by-moment awareness of our thoughts, feelings, bodily sensations, and surrounding environment. It encourages us to witness our life as it unfolds, without judgment or attachment. This practice can significantly dilute the power of the ego, as it brings us into direct contact with the reality of the present moment beyond our personal narratives and biases. Imagine you are in a heated discussion. If you practice mindfulness, instead of being swept away by emotional turbulence, you might notice how your body reacts, how your emotions ebb and flow, and how your thoughts try to assert themselves. This awareness creates a space between your experiences and your reactions, providing you the freedom to choose a response in alignment with wisdom, not ego. Wisdom also encourages us to embrace the concept of not knowing or entering situations with an open mind, devoid of preconceptions. This is fundamentally opposite to the ego's need to always be right or to have all the answers. When we admit we don't know everything, we become open to learning and understanding more deeply. How many times have we missed opportunities to learn something new because we assumed we already knew the answer? Furthermore, wisdom teaches us the value of simplicity. In a world where ego thrives on complexity and drama, wisdom inspires us to find beauty and truth in simple things. This simplicity can be a guiding principle in making life choices that are not ego-driven but are more authentic and meaningful. Let's reflect on a simple yet profound question. How often do we complicate our lives unnecessarily in pursuit of satisfying the ego? What would happen if we chose simplicity instead? As we wrap up this part of our discussion, I encourage you to think about how these insights can be applied in your interactions, your decisions, and your approach to life's challenges. Consider the freedom and peace that come from responding with wisdom rather than reacting with ego. How will you implement these insights into your daily routine? How might your life change if your actions were guided by deep understanding and compassion rather than by fleeting desires or fears? Beyond the ego, redefining success with wisdom for a fulfilling life. In this third segment of our journey, we pivot our focus towards redefining success and achievement through the lens of wisdom, transcending the narrow definitions often imposed by ego. This exploration will challenge conventional views and encourage a broader, more spiritually enriched perspective on what it truly means to live a successful life. Traditionally, success is often measured by tangible outcomes such as wealth, status, and power. These are the yardsticks set by societal norms, deeply ingrained in our collective psyche. But let's pause and reflect. Do these achievements bring lasting fulfillment? Or do they merely feed the ego, giving it a temporary sense of superiority and satisfaction? Wisdom invites us to rethink success. It encourages us to measure our lives by the depth of our experiences, the quality of our relationships, and our ability to contribute to the well-being of others. It teaches us that true success involves expanding our awareness, fostering genuine connections, and cultivating inner peace. Consider this. When we operate from a place of wisdom, our goals often shift from seeking external validation to nurturing internal growth. We begin to value empathy, kindness, and resilience. We strive for a harmony that resonates not just within ourselves but also with the world around us. This shift dramatically changes how we approach our personal and professional lives. For instance, in a professional setting, rather than stepping over others to climb the corporate ladder, a wisdom-oriented individual seeks to lift others as they climb. They understand that real leadership is about empowering others, not just accumulating personal accolades. They see success as creating environments where creativity, cooperation, and mutual respect thrive. Moreover, wisdom challenges the very fear of failure that often drives egocentric actions. It teaches us that failure is not a reflection of our worth, but an inevitable part of the human experience and a vital source of insight and growth. By reframing failure, we allow ourselves to take risks, to venture into new territories, and to embrace life's unpredictability with confidence and grace. This approach to success and achievement also impacts how we handle life's inevitable challenges and setbacks. Instead of perceiving them as personal affronts or insurmountable obstacles, we view them as opportunities to deepen our understanding, expand our compassion, and refine our resilience. Each challenge becomes a call to action, an invitation to rise to the occasion with a spirit of wisdom and courage. Now, let's engage with a practical application of this concept through gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful practice that aligns closely with wisdom-driven success. It shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have, from what we want to what we can give. By regularly acknowledging and appreciating the abundance in our lives, we weaken the grip of ego, which is perpetually dissatisfied and seeking more. To integrate this into your life, start each day by listing 3 things you are grateful for. These could be as simple as a warm cup of coffee, a kind gesture from a stranger, or the comfort of your home. This simple practice can shift your perspective, reduce feelings of entitlement and dissatisfaction, and increase your overall sense of well-being. As we conclude this part of our discussion, reflect on how redefining success in these terms could transform your life. Imagine living in a state where your self-worth is not tied to external achievements but is rooted in a deep sense of purpose and connection. How would this change the way you approach your goals, interact with others, and perceive yourself? Embracing wisdom, cultivating personal freedom and inner peace in a turbulent world. As we delve into the final part of our exploration, we focus on how wisdom fundamentally enhances our sense of personal freedom and fosters a deep, enduring inner peace. These qualities are crucial in today's fast-paced and often tumultuous world, where external pressures and internal conflicts frequently dominate our lives. Wisdom teaches us the art of letting go, a concept that is both liberating and transformative. Letting go involves releasing our attachment to outcomes, our rigid identities, and the heavy burden of past grievances. This doesn't mean we become passive or indifferent. Rather, we engage with life more fully, appreciating each moment without the need to control or predict every outcome. Consider the freedom that comes when you let go of the need for everyone to like you. This need often stems from ego, driving us to conform to what we think others expect of us. Letting go liberates us from this constraint, allowing our true selves to flourish. We become free to express our authentic thoughts and feelings, leading to more genuine relationships and a more satisfying life. Wisdom also cultivates inner peace through acceptance. Acceptance here refers not to resignation but to recognizing the reality of a situation without resistance or denial. When we accept things as they are, we are not perturbed by false hopes or unnecessary despair. Instead, we find peace in understanding the nature of life's ebb and flow. This practice can be particularly powerful in dealing with personal or professional setbacks. Instead of reacting with frustration or bitterness when things don't go as planned, acceptance allows us to view these events as part of the larger tapestry of our life experience. With this perspective, we maintain our inner calm and are better equipped to navigate through challenges. Every day, we make countless decisions. Wisdom influences our decision-making by prompting us to consider not just immediate benefits, but long-term values and consequences. This might mean choosing a career path that is less lucrative but more fulfilling, or opting to spend quality time with family over extended work hours. Incorporating wisdom into our daily decisions also means recognizing the interconnectedness of our actions. By understanding that our choices affect not just ourselves but also others and the environment, we make decisions that are more sustainable and ethical. This broadened perspective ensures that our actions contribute positively to the world, enhancing our sense of purpose and fulfillment. To consistently cultivate wisdom, engage in regular practices of mindful reflection. This can be a formal meditation practice, journaling, or simply spending quiet time in nature. These practices help us to connect with our inner selves, observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment, and gain insights into the workings of our minds. Mindful reflection allows us to notice patterns in our thoughts and behaviors that may be driven by ego, such as habitual negativity, jealousy, or anger. Recognizing these patterns is the first step in transforming them. Through ongoing practice, we develop the ability to choose responses that are aligned with wisdom and peace, rather than being reactive. Imagine a life where each action and decision is infused with wisdom. In this life, your actions are guided by deep understanding, compassion, and integrity. You experience an authentic freedom derived not from external achievements, but from an internal state of peace and contentness. This is the profound potential of a life led by wisdom. As we conclude our exploration, I encourage you to reflect on how the principles discussed can be woven into the fabric of your daily life. How will you implement these insights to enhance your personal freedom and inner peace? Remember, the journey towards wisdom is ongoing and ever-evolving. Each step on this path not only enriches your own life but also contributes to the greater good, creating ripples of positive change in the world around you. Thank you for joining this exploration. May your journey be filled with insightful discoveries and transformative experiences. If you wish to discuss further or have specific aspects you'd like to explore more deeply, feel free to reach out.